Hi y'all, we are back from my favorite video, and that is the spinner wheel video. So today we're going to spin the wheels for my August TBR. Now, is it the middle of July and I'm wearing a sweatshirt? Yeah, I am. But I did yard work this morning for like 2.5 hours, and then I came in and showered and washed my hair, and now I'm cold. I was so hot and sweaty outside for so long that now I'm cold inside. So my body is still trying to adjust to the temperature difference, even hours later. So this month I have a few hopefuls that I want to be able to put on the list. So I am continuing to read the Blood and Ash series. So the ones that I'm supposed to read in the month of August are A Soul of Ash and Blood, which is the 5th book, and then Visions of Flesh and Blood, which is the compendium novel for both the Flesh and Fire series and the Blood and Ash series. And this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. And then also A Fire in the Flesh, which is the 3rd book in the Flesh and Fire series. However, it's the middle of July and I still have not gotten to the 2nd book in the Flesh and Fire series, which is A Light in the Flame. So that one might have to be read during August. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish it this month or not. And so then one of these 3 would be pushed into September. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But those are the 3 that are supposed to be read in the month of August. So we will see. And then also, in preparation for another video that I'm filming later in the year, I want to read Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score. So I would like to get that book read in preparation for another video, and I've already got it checked out on Kindle Unlimited, so it's already on my Kindle ready to go. So those are the 4 books that I'm hoping to get on the TBR. Just so we don't have 1,000 books on the TBR. So let's go ahead and first do our 4 spins for the audiobooks that will be on my August TBR. Okay, so let's do our first spin. And we get a free pick. Okay, that's awesome. So I will pick that book at the end of the video. Since it's a free pick, I can pick any book, any audiobook that I want. And I have a feeling that it will be one that I've already put a hold in at the library on Libby for months and months now. It's taken forever for me to get that hold in. So probably will pick one of those books. Okay, so let's go and spin for our second spin for our audiobook. And we get, Inheritance. Okay. That is perfect. So, 2 or 3 months ago, I finished the audiobook of Brissinger. So now we will be reading Inheritance, which is the next book in the, is it called the Inheritance Cycle? I think it's this Inheritance Cycle. So that's the 4th book in the cycle. So we have Inheritance and Murtagh still left to read. So this is perfect, perfect. So I'll get to read the 4th book in that series. So excited. Okay, our 3rd audiobook spin. A Kristen Hanna book. Okay, so I just finished The Women last month in June. Really loved it. So I guess we'll be listening to another Kristen Hanna book in August. So that's perfect. So I think, unfortunately, my library does not have an audiobook of Firefly Lane. They have the 2nd book in that duology, but not the 1st. So I will probably pick between, is it The 4 Winds? The one about the Dust Bowl, and then The Great Alone, which is the one set in Alaska. So I will probably pick between one of those 2, depending on the amount of time I have to wait at the library. So A Kristen Hanna book is our 3rd spin. Okay, so our fourth and final spin for our audiobook TBR. And we get a Kate Quinn book. Okay, so Kate Quinn this is probably the third TBR that Kate Quinn has been on, and I have not gotten to one of her books. So this will be a priority for August, reading a Kate Quinn book above all of those except maybe Inheritance. Kate Quinn book. Read a Kate Quinn book in August, finally. Because I have tried to read one of her books and it just hasn't happened yet. So, okay. We got a free pick. We've got Inheritance, and we've got a Kristen Hanna book, and we've got a Kate Quinn book. Okay, so after consulting Libby, my hold of Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey should be in August. So that will be the free pick book. And then for the Kristen Hanna book, The Four Winds is available soon. So I will also be able to read The Four Winds. Now, as far as a Kate Quinn book, I have The Rose Code. The Rose Code will be available soon at the library as well. So I'll be able to read that Kate Quinn book in the month of August. So we've got Wild Dark Shore, Inheritance, The Rose Code, and The Four Winds for our 4 audiobook spins. So now let's get into our regular 6 spins for the month of August. So let me make sure screen records going this time. Okay, so let's spin for our first book for our physical TBR in August. And we get a book published in the 2010s. So that means any book published from 2010 to 2019. So any book published within those 10 years. So book published in the 2010s will be our first spin. Okay, so our second spin. Let's go. Okay, we get, Gifted and Talented. Okay, so I got Gifted and Talented in a Fairy Loot subscription box, and this book is by Olivia Blake. So let me go grab that. Okay, so this is my copy of Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake, and this is the Fairy Loot Special Edition. And if you watched my haul, you'll know that I did not love the customizations on this because they're just kind of boring. But we will be adding this book to the August TBR. So here is what the synopsis is, because I honestly don't remember. Where there's a will, there's a war. Thayer Wren, brilliant CEO of Ren Fair Magitech, is dead. As the so-called father of modern technology, he leaves an incredible legacy, and any of his 3 telepathically and electrokinetically gifted children could plausibly inherit the Ren Fair throne, or so they like to think. On the pipeline of gifted kid to clinically depressed adult, nobody wins. Yet, as they gather to read Thayer's final word, which Wren will come out on top? So that synopsis is not really giving much. Don't really know what this is supposed to be about. But it seems like these children are gifted telepathically, and they can move things with their mind and such as that. We've got a bound in letter from the author. And, oh, look how tiny this font is. Oh my gosh. This will be the first Olivia Blake book that I've ever read. So, all right, let's go ahead and do our third spin. Okay, we get Babylonia. Okay, this is a book of the month book, so let me go grab it. So, Babylonia by Costanza Casati is the January 2025 pick for book of the month. And let's read the synopsis on this. A common woman, the governor she married, the king who loved them both. Welcome to the empire of gods and men, and the one queen destined to rule them all. Babylonia, across the centuries, has become the embodiment of lust, excess, and dissolute power. In this world, you had to kill to be king, or in this case of Semiramis, an orphan raised on the outskirts of the empire. Queen. Nothing about Semiramis's upbringing would have foretold her legacy. But when she meets a young representative of the new Assyrian king, a prophecy unfolds before her, one that puts her in the center of a brutal world and in the hearts of two men. Caught in the politics of viciousness of ancient Assyria, Semiramis trains in war and diplomacy. And with each move, she rises in rank, embroiled in a game of power, desire, love, and betrayal, until she can ascend to the only position that will ever keep her safe. So this will be the first book that I have read by this author, and I am very intrigued by the story. So we'll see how this book goes in August. That was our third spin. So let's spin for our fourth book for our physical TBR. Okay. And the fourth spin is a book published in 2021. Okay, so we have a book published in the 2010s and a book published in 2021. So I'm hoping that one of these three was published in 2021 of the Jennifer L. Armentrout book. So that was our fourth spin, a book published in 2021. Okay, spin number 5. And we get Heir of Storms. Oh my gosh, I literally just got this book in the mail like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so Heir of Storms is actually behind me in the stack of books that I have not hauled yet, which that video should be coming in the next like 2 or 3 weeks. So let me grab Heir of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. Now, if you watched my mid-year book tag video, you'll know that this book was the prettiest book that I have received in the first half of the year. And these sprayed edges are so pretty. And the naked hardcover, I mean, come on now. So pretty. So this book is the start of a new series. And it's a YA series. So let's see what this book is about. Because of course, I don't know. Okay. When Blaze came into the world, she almost drowned it. Blaze, a rain singer, is born into one of the most powerful fire-wielding families in the Empire. Her birth summoned a devastating storm that resulted in the deaths of thousands, and as she has spent her life as an outsider, reviled and feared. When Blaze and her twin brother Flint are selected to compete in the Choosing Right, the trials which decide the future rulers of the Empire, she's suddenly thrust into the limelight and into battle. Threats abound at the Golden Palace, where intrigue and romance await, with not one but 2 handsome suitors, the enchanting Crown Prince, and a dangerously alluring newcomer at court. As her powers strengthen and her fellow competitors fall, the throne is suddenly within her grasp. But in order to take the crown, she'll have to leave behind the stories that others have told about her and find the courage to write her own. So, Heir of Storms will be the 5th book on my August TBR. Okay, last spin. Why do these videos always go by so quickly? Like, goodness gracious. Maybe I need to like draw out the time between spins so that it like goes a little bit slower. I don't know. Okay, let's spin for our 6th and final book. And we get, ooh, the author last wheel. So how I've done this is I've divided the alphabet in half. And the first half of the alphabet and the second half of the alphabet. And whatever letter the wheel lands on is the first letter in the author's last name. Okay, author last. Okay, so let's spin for a letter in the second half of the alphabet for an author's last name. Okay. And that letter is S. Okay, S. So we have to find a book that was published in the 2010s, a book that was published in 2021, and an author with the last name that starts with S. Okay, let me go do some digging and I will be right back. Okay, so I've done some consulting with Goodreads and my 2025 like overarching big TBR. And I found some books that fit those 3 prompts. And unfortunately, none in the Blood and Ash series fit any of those prompts. The only books that I have left in the Blood and Ash series were published in 2022 and 2023, at least for this month's stack. So those do not fit the 2021 prompt, obviously. So let's start off with a book that was published in the 2010s. So luckily, Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score was published in 2017. So that book will be added onto the TBR, luckily made a spot. So Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score, which is the first book in the Fixer series. And this book is about, it's a constant battle on set between sexy home renovation reality star Grumpy Gannon and his no-nonsense field producer. Paige has zero time for temperamental talent, especially one who acts like being in front of the camera is the last thing he wants. Mr. Sex and a Tool Belt has made it his mission in life to get a rise out of her, but Paige is a master of locking down her temper. They're on the road together working long hours, fixing houses and changing lives. When cracks in her legendary coolness start to show and sparks fly, Gannon is infatuated and the cameras are there to capture it. But he's fallen for pretty packages before, and Paige won't be taken seriously if she's caught sleeping with the star of her show. She also can't seem to resist those big, rough hands. Those smoldery hazel eyes, the dimples, and the tool belt. Too bad it's all about to fall apart. She never should have trusted him. He never should have let her go. So, seems like a pretty typical romance, like Hallmark movie, Lifetime movie sort of thing. And if it came out in 2017, that was kind of the height, sort of, at least of what was Joanna and Chip Gaines's home renovation show called? I can't remember anymore. I used to watch it all the time. But, you know, kind of the HGTV, like, those shows were still kind of popular back then. Because me and my family watched a lot of those shows when I was growing up. So that was, you know, in the early 2000s. But Anyway, that's way off topic. Okay, so that will be the book for 2010s. And then book published in 2021. So I have decided to go with the third book in the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver, and that is called The Front Runner. So this book, the male main character in this book is not really liked in the other two books, so this will be interesting to see how this story progresses, since he's kind of been portrayed as a jerk in the other two books. So, Stefan Dalka is infuriatingly handsome and annoyingly persistent. We're supposed to hate each other, but apparently he didn't get the memo because he's been asking me out for years. Jeez. And I always say no until today. Today, he has something that I desperately need. Today, he's a savior and I'm his prize. Our time together starts out as a simple transaction. 3 dates, no touching, no telling anyone, and definitely no falling in love. But with every intimate conversation and each stolen glance, the tension between us builds. The way he looks at me gives me butterflies, and when he finally touches me, we sizzle. Stefan makes me feel seen in a way no other person has before. He cherishes my words as passionately as my body. He makes me laugh. He makes me blush. He calls me kitten. I don't think I like that, but okay. He's not the villain he's made out to be. Oh my gosh. And suddenly I find myself longing for him in a way the people closest to me wouldn't approve of or understand. Giving in to Stefan Dalka is playing with fire, but with him, I don't even mind the heat. That will be the book published in 2021, which is A False Start by Elsie Silver. Okay, so then we have an author whose last name starts with S. So I have a couple of options. Now, I could read the fourth book in the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver, which is called A False Start. However, I kind of have two romances on there that seem kind of, hallmarky, so I don't know if I would be able to get through a third, because sometimes I can only take so much. Then The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith, which I would absolutely love to read. However, we're already starting 2 new series in this TBR, at least. So I don't know if I want to start a third new series. Plus, I kind of need another Kindle book. Then Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks, which another sad book. And if I already have Kate Quinn and Kristen Hanna on this TBR, I'm not sure I should add Nicholas Sparks as well. Plus, that's a physical book and I really need a Kindle book. And then I have, oh my gosh. And then I have one of the books in the Thoughtless series by S.C. Stevens. So book 5 is called Untamed. So that is an option because I do have that on my Kindle. Or I have Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen, which is a book of the month book that I've been really wanting to read. It is a standalone, however, it's a physical book. So I think I'm gonna go with our really only Kindle option here, which is Untamed by S.C. Stevens. Now this is the 5th book in the Thoughtless series. And this book follows one of the band members of Kellen Kyle's band. So Kellen Kyle is one of the male main characters in the first 3 books, and then book number 4 is from Kellen's point of view, and then book 5 is about Griffin, who is the drummer of the band. So, the spotlight doesn't only shine, sometimes it burns. Being the bad boy bassist, oh, he's a bassist, not the drummer, whoops. Being the bad boy bassist for the world's hottest band has earned Griffin Hancock some perks. A big house, a fast car, and most importantly, his incredible wife, Anna. Who, I think Anna is Kira, who's the female main character in the first 4 books. I think Anna is her sister, if I remember correctly. The one thing it hasn't brought him is the spotlight. Anna tells him to be patient, that his talent will win out. But Griffin is through waiting for permission to shine. Without warning, Griffin makes a shocking decision and takes the gamble of a lifetime. Suddenly, he's caught up in a new level of lights, camera, and chaos. One that pushes his relationship with Anna to its limits. Anna has always found his unpredictable behavior sexy, but lately he's been an ache in her eye, and it has his soul in knots. Just as the recognition Griffin seeks is finally within reach, the thing he loves most in life could be slipping through his fingers. Sounds like Griffin, once he finally gets what he thinks he wants in life, that the thing he really actually truly wants in life might be slipping through his fingers. So Christy from Christy Reads a Lot actually has read this book, and she rated it 3 stars. So we'll see. I didn't love Griffin in the other books in the series. He was kind of a jerk. So we'll see how it goes in this one. But my battery's about to die. So let's go ahead and quickly run through the books that are on our TBR. Okay, so we've got Mr. Fixer-Upper from a book published in 2017, Gifted and Talented by Olive E. Blake, Babylonia by Costanza Casati, False Start for a book published in 2021, Air of Storms, and Untamed for an author with a last name starting with S. Then we still have the 3 Jennifer L. Armentrout books that are on the list unofficially. And then for our audiobooks, we have a free pick, which is most likely going to be Wild Dark Shore. Then Inheritance, which is the 4th book in the Inheritance saga. Then a Kristen Hanna book, which is The 4 Winds. And then a Kate Quinn book, which is The Rose Code. So let me know down below if you have read any of these books and you liked them. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you would like to. And tune in the rest of the month to see some reading vlogs, and at the end of the month to see a reading wrap up. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!